Just recently, a new report from the United Nations say that there was a dramatic worsening of world hunger in 2020, much of it likely related to the fallout of COVID-19. This will, of course, pose a challenging work for those who serve in impoverished communities. Although world poverty seems like a black hole, thankfully, there are some amazing people in this world who are doing something about it. And we are so blessed to have a local individual who seems to have a gift of enabling those people to do so more efficiently. So we're joined today by Dr. Daniel Zopoula, pastor of Mid-City Church in Lethbridge and the founder of Bridges of Hope, a humanitarian organization that empowers those in need around the globe. Daniel, welcome back to Bridge City News. So great to have you on today.
Well, thank you for having me. It's so good to be here.
Of course. So, Daniel, can you explain what Bridges of Hope is all about?
Well, Bridges of Hope is an international network of development agencies, and its job is to empower the people in less able communities to actually begin the process and the journey of self-sufficiency. Because much of the world is going through an incredible moment of hunger, economic issues that are really plaguing their communities, including political issues that are dominating the conversation. And our organizations seek to empower people everywhere to be and become the best version of themselves.
Definitely. So when people come to you to get help or to get their charitable organization started, there's a lot that goes into it. So I understand you're not only helping them to jump through government red tape, but you also offer leadership and coaching and even training in how to market their organization and how to raise funds to help others, right?
Yeah, in general, again, we are a network of development agencies, meaning we network many people, both local organization here in Lethbridge, Canadian-based, American-based, European organization, as well as indigenous people, indigenous organizations. And so when people send in an application, we create a contract that govern how we operate and lead ourselves to deliver the result, that it may be specific to a region or a country or a particular community, including Lethbridge here. So people usually they send an application, they say, I want to network with you, or maybe they have a vision of their own organization instead of them having to go through the whole processes of registering for an organization, like getting the paper, getting their own auditing, which is very onerous and costly. We say, why don't we join effort? And in joining effort, in us being many, we are able to deliver incredible results. And not only that, but we have audits and independent audits that provide for a good, reliable milieu to do charity with integrity.
So does Lethbridge in Southern Alberta have quite a number of charities working under the Bridges of Hope umbrella then?
Yet quite a few, we got quite a few, maybe even in Lethbridge in particular, we have maybe a dozen organizations that work together with Bridges of Hope to be able to deliver its mission here locally. You know, for example, organizations like Youth One, that's a part of Bridges of Hope as well. We have other organizations that in Carson and Calgary and all around about. We do have also parachurch organizations or churches themselves. We have some churches also that just partner fully with us to be able to deliver the result that we see as charitable in our community.
Okay, and so globally speaking, which countries are you working in right now?
Well, about 25 different countries. both in Africa and Europe and South America, as well as obviously in North America. We have been operating with 25 countries about. That those include Haiti. We have quite a lot of projects in Haiti that includes hospitals, schools, a couple of universities. We got also programs that really provide for microfinances or business creation, just helping the indigenous people jumpstart the local economy. Because if charity is good for one thing, eh? It's
Right.
good to receive something, but here's the thing: it's another thing for you to become independent, to become self-sufficient, and that instead of you being the beneficiary, you become a benefactor. So our goal have always been turning beneficiaries into benefactors. I was a beneficiary of charity. I was one who was sponsored. I was one who was helped. Now I am working over. I've been in my mid 50s. Now I can look back, that the very cities and the very places, the very streets I walked in, in Africa, I am now trying to enrich and to help them become better. The whole story of Bridges of Hope is it doesn't matter who you are and where you start. It doesn't matter where you started. It doesn't matter the problem that you encounter. If you work hard with trust in God and with faith in Him, we believe that God is able to work in your life such that you become who He meant you to be. He can turn you from a beneficiary to a benefactor. It's that simple.
Yeah, I love that. I love how you've turned your life around and are now helping others the way that you benefited so much. And you mentioned something interesting too. You said that it's more than just, it goes beyond scarcity of food and water, right? It goes deeper than that. So what are the kinds of needs that you're seeing typically in these nations?
Poverty is really systemic, you see. It's not just a depletion of resources. In fact, if we want to look at resources, there is enough food to feed the whole world and more for the next hundreds of years. There's enough food. So it's not even about scarcity of resources. We got them. The problem is that there is a system that creates that hunger. For example, the reason I got involved in starting Bridges of Hope some over 20 years ago is because there was no water in one community. And as we sought to provide water for the community, we realized, wow, the community doesn't have a water problem. They actually have water problem, but they do have health problem. The death rate was so high. And then in the process, we realized it's full of orphans and people who are thrown out and kids that are abandoned. And then we realized, oh my Lord. So we have a health problem. We have a hunger problem. And then education problem. So we started from the well, we built an orphanage, and from an orphanage, a school, and the school, a college, and the college, a university. And suddenly we have millions of students from around, it's just like that are finding the difference and getting to school and so on. But the whole joy in all that I do is, again, reminding people of this very truth. It's not about you giving your money to help an orphan. It's about eliminating the system that creates orphans. And the system is very strong. And that system, it lives and thrives on at least three agencies: government, religion, and then the third is the capital, in the sense of government's willingness or unwillingness, religion, because there's too much war. Much of a war is created by religion. There's no peace. There's no sense of it. So there is a loss of war. And like in Nigeria, for example, and in Burkina Faso, some of the local churches, they're blown up. You want to do a baptism there, it blows you up. So religious, that's a system that is really against that. And the capital, the sense that even if it's a good thing, there's no money that is available. That's why we are motivating the third powers, which I believe are media, like yourself, artists, I'm an artist myself. I do African music and dance theater. We need to mobilize them and people and normal people like you and me to get involved and to get involved in doing the work of releasing the people from poverty, feeding the poor and the hungry, clothing the naked, and helping people become who they are truly meant to be. And so
Mhm.
it is quite tough. It is quite difficult. But again, it's a system. Poverty itself is a mindset, and sometimes it's maddening when I go to the Congos, when I go to Rwanda or Burundi, and I go and I see what took place, the historical injustices and that really took place. It's sad to watch, but I believe that in the end, above all, poverty is also spiritual. It is a spiritual thing in the sense that it's a depletion of our spiritual capacity to show up and to be who God meant us to be. And that's why I'm so glad. And I thank God for the redemptive work that He has done for me. I'm here because one missionary reached out and helped me find Jesus, find hope, and find meaning and find direction. And through that, I was able to go to school, and thank God for those missionaries and those people who are sponsoring a child, one person at a time. That's why I'm here.
Oh, that's amazing. It's so interesting to hear you talk about that because we hear so many different views on what causes poverty, and to hear you say that it's actually systemic and it's also spiritual. I mean, there's all these different things that we're not normally thinking. So when you help somebody rise up out of poverty, are you also using like micro loans to help individuals get started in a business? Because I know you mentioned that a little bit as well.
Yeah, that's right. And I think in terms of lifting people out of poverty is it, I took some folks from our city hall, to West Africa, and we had meeting with maybe you can have 1,000 women, and the women were explaining what they need. And then in the midst of it, and the lady said, "We'll help." No, we're trying to reach out. We're going to help you. And one lady from the crowd stood up, say, "We don't need your help. We don't need. You know what we need? We just need capital." Hmm. That's one of the ladies said. "Give me capital, and I just want to do business with you. Can you give me capital? I will start a business. I'll pay you." Because the truth on the ground is that people have no access to the banks. They don't have access to capital to do business. And so we always keep on saying, "Whoa, you want to teach them how to fish? Don't teach them how to fish?" No, the Africans, most of them, we don't need nobody to teach us how to fish. We just need access to a pond. And to have access to the pond, you need some capital. And that's what people are struggling with. So that's why through our agencies, we saw incredible system of microfinance started. Micro, meso, or macro loans were created, and incredible. Like I can tell you today, at any given day, at least 30,000 women operate with a micro loan that is helping them really be and become. And you know what? Isn't that great? You can start your own business
Yeah.
because the government cannot have no job for you. There is no job available. So you have to create it yourself.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what are some of the more specific needs of women in developing nations? Are you basically saying there's no opportunity for them? So the best opportunity for them is to start their own business through these microloans?
That's correct. Yes, and women again, they are really the backbone of the economy in most of the region I'm talking about in Africa. No, traditionally and also in real, they're very, very, very enterprising. You see, and so, but the problem is that with them is that they're in the village, they are in the remote places, and again, they have no access. But the truth of the matter is that if you resource a woman, if you give ability to a woman to actually take care of herself and her family, she will not just keep the money to herself. She'll give it to feed her family and her children. And so the key has been to actually empowering them, because The condition on the ground is not something that is to their favor. They're still facing many difficulties and access issues and discrimination issues, no employment for them. So we really put a lot of emphasis on women and young girls, and I mean educating them too as well. And as you look at the statistic, the population is predominantly women. To give you an example, in churches, in some of the churches, 80% of them, the people who go to church are probably women, but there's no woman leader. Huh? Why not? So the key is to reinforce their capacity so that they can take care of themselves and nurture their community.
How can the people watching at home get involved in Bridges of Hope?
Well, first, the first thing I want to say is thank you to your viewer. I know in Lethbridge first, we have been incredibly supported by this city. I'm so thankful to Lethbridge and to Canada. It's really, I'm really thankful. I also understand that this is a moment in which there is a compassionate fatigue or charity fatigue. We're just fatigued about charity all by and large. I understand and I realize that. And but I want to again appeal to you and to your goodwill, again, to continue to reach out and help any nonprofit organization in our cities who are working in the streets, the young people, the young adults in general, just to reach out and do something. Because my goal is not to get all the money for myself, for my own programs. No, I want to make sure that as a people, that we are reaching out and we are taking care of our people. And in particular, Bridges of Hope, if you want to help us, you go to our website and there's a big button there. You can donate. You can donate to a program. You can sponsor a child to go to school. You can also help pay for maybe a nurse or a teacher to go into a community and reach out. Our website provides like dozens and dozens of organizations that may relate to your heart. And I want you to respond and help our people, help our agency be and become the best version of themselves. But thank you so much for taking time to even watch and listen to us in this time.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for being with us today, Daniel. We really appreciate having you on. Dr. Daniel Zopoula is the founder of Bridges of Hope, and you can go to their website, www.bridgesofhope.ca. Thanks for being with us today, Daniel.
Thank you.